All right, welcome. Today, we're here at Wat Pho in Bangkok, the home of that incredible reclining Buddha. But this temple is so much more than just a famous landmark. It's what I'd call a living history. And it makes us ask a really big question. When we try to save the past, what are we actually trying to save?
So, let's start with a puzzle, one that every culture has to figure out sooner or later. It really gets right to the heart of what we think is important about our history.
Imagine this. You've got a sacred site, a place that means everything to your culture, and it's starting to crumble. What do you do? I mean, what's our duty here? Is it to freeze it exactly as it is, decay and all, like some kind of museum piece? Or is there another way to think about it?
Well, the answer really comes down to two completely different ways of seeing the world. On one side, you've got this idea of material authenticity, the belief that the original stones, the actual stuff from the past, that's what's sacred. But on the other hand, there's spiritual continuity, this idea that the purpose, the living soul of the place, is the thing that truly needs to be saved.
And believe me, this isn't just some stuffy academic debate. It totally shapes how history is treated all over the world. Let's start with the approach that, well, a lot of us are probably most familiar with.
So the Western approach to conservation, which got really formalized in international charters and kind of grew out of a colonial way of thinking, puts a huge emphasis on the physical object. The idea is that you have to preserve the exact materials left behind. You treat a building almost like a piece of scientific evidence, a historical fact that you just can't change. But what if a building isn't just an object? What if it's more like a living thing? In the East, once a building is consecrated, its very fabric becomes sacred. And this quote just says it perfectly. Repairing it, even if you change the style, doesn't make it less authentic. Nope, it just continues its life. It's like the spirit of the place matters more than its original skin. Now, to really wrap our heads around this different way of thinking, we have to dig into a core idea in Buddhist thought, and by extension, in Thai culture. And that concept is anicca, or impermanence. It's this deep understanding that everything, and I mean everything, from our own lives to the most magnificent temples, is always changing. Nothing lasts forever. It's all in a constant state of flux. And that perspective, well, it changes everything. If you really accept that all things are impermanent, then a building that's falling apart isn't a failure. It's not something you failed to preserve. It's just natural. It's part of that building's life cycle, like a tree losing its leaves in the fall.
Okay, so if decay is totally natural and expected, then what does it even mean to repair a sacred building? Well, it turns out it's not just about fixing things. It's something way more profound. This brings us to this powerful idea of panna, which is all about making merit. In Buddhism, when you do good things, you generate positive karma, which helps you out in this life and the next. And one of the best ways to make merit? Supporting the faith. Just think about that for a second. Repairing a temple isn't just about fixing a leaky roof. It's a deeply spiritual act. It's a way for the whole community to keep their faith alive and strong. And for any one person, it's an act of devotion that builds good karma. And this brings us right back to where we started, right here at Wat Pho. This place isn't some static old monument. It is a beautiful, living example of these ideas of impermanence and merit in action.
And you can literally see this philosophy playing out through the temple's history. The story of Wat Pho isn't about being frozen in time. It's a story of constant revival, of renewal, with every generation adding its own layer of devotion and merit. Just look at the first huge restoration under King Rama I. After the old capital, Ayutthaya, was destroyed, this wasn't just a repair job. It was this massive 12-year project to basically restore the heart of the religion itself. He brought thousands of damaged Buddhist statues from ruined cities, and he didn't just fix them. He ordered them to be beautified, to have new life and spirit breathed right back into them. And you know what's so cool? This isn't just ancient history. It's a living, breathing practice. Right now, as we speak, Wat Pho has its own team of craftsmen who are always working on the temple, gilding statues, fixing plaster. The act of renewal is just woven into the daily life of this place. And that right there is the heart of it. For Wat Pho and for this whole way of thinking, renewal isn't a bad thing. It's not a violation of the temple's authenticity. It's a continuation of its sacred life. The building is allowed to change, to evolve, because its soul is so much more important than its original skin. So this leaves us with a question that really challenges our own ideas about history.
When we try to save the past, what are we really saving? Is it the physical body perfectly frozen in time, or is it the living soul, something that's allowed to breathe and change and keep going on its journey right alongside us?